Good morning and welcome to Psychology News. I'm Erica.
I'm Joli.
And tonight we will be doing a very special segment on Black psychologists since it's Black History Month.
But first, we'll take a look at where it all began. Howard University was the largest university during the early era of Black schools and became the leading Black university that provided graduate and undergraduate training in psychology, as well as becoming the leading conduct for Black students to enter into graduate school.
So Francis Sumner was the chair of Howard's psychological department and hired Max Means, a white associate professor, trained as a brass instrument psychologist, which he, Means, and Frederick Watts, a student, to form a 3-person department.
The first course in psychology ran through 3 quarters. First quarter was psychology according to Titchener. Second was psychology based from the point of view of behaviorism, and third quarter was based on dynamic psychology, which was used by McDougall and Freud, as well as courses in learning, personality, mental hygiene, religion, and so on.
Howard University only provided a master's degree in psychology and not a doctorate because the leaders thought it was best for their students to go elsewhere. However, they did provide courses for the students to help them pass the language exams for the doctorate, such as reading in German and French psychology.
In 1938, Sumner outlined 3 objectives for the psychology department.
Servicing of students preparing for various professional lines such as business, education, law, medicine, religion, music, and nursing. A certain amount of scientific psychological knowledge is required in all these professions.
Cultural significance of psychology is stressed by the psychology department, and this appeals to a large number of students.
The preparation of a few select students for scientific pursuit of psychology and graduate student leading to the master's doctor's degree.
In 1943, the annual award of a gold key was established for Howard University senior completing a major in psychology with exceptional distinction, which was later called the Dodson Award. We have a special segment with Jenna who will be interviewing 3 of the many significant psychologists:
Howard Emery Wright, Alberta Banner Turner, and J. Henry Alston.
To you, Jenna.
Hi, my name is Jenna, and I will be reporting on 3 Black psychologists. So today we have Howard Emery Wright with us. Tell me something about your education experience.
Well, I went to elementary school in Washington, D.C. and Atlantic City High School in New Jersey. And I also went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania in 1928 and received the bachelor's degree in 1932. And then I was enrolled in graduate school in Ohio State University at 1933 and was awarded with the master's degree in psychology.
So you had a thesis called An Analysis of Results with Certain Tests of Interests and Attitudes. What made you embark in this?
Well, I had an early interest in social psychology.
What was your first job?
I was a principal at the campus laboratory school at Albany State College in Georgia until 1934.
What were your other jobs?
I was a principal at Aracoma High School in Logan, West Virginia from 1936 to 1939. And also was a principal associate professor of education and director of teacher training of the campus laboratory school at Prairie View College in Texas from 1940 to 1945. And in 1945, I returned to Idaho State as a graduate teaching assistant and completed my PhD in psychology in 1946.
So I heard that you moved on from being a principal. What was your job after that?
Well, in 1945 to 1948, I was the chairman of the psychology department at North Carolina College in Durham, and I was chairman of the Division of Education and Psychology at Texas Southern University at 1948 to 1953. And in 1953, I was chairmanship of the psychology department in North Carolina. And in 1961, I was president of Allen University in South Carolina. And I was regional director of community action programs for the Office of Economic Opportunity in Washington, D.C. in 1965. And I was the branch chief of the Division of College Support for the U.S. Office of Education in 1966 to 1967.
Wow, that's a lot of jobs. That's all we have for Howard Emery Wright. Thank you so much. And next we have Miss Alberta Banner Turner, a noted civil rights and women's rights activist in the field of psychology. So, Miss Turner, How did your parents react to you going into the psychology field?
My father was a cement contractor and my mother was a beautician who devoted her life to hard work in order to finance my college education.
And then what happened?
At the age of 16, I enrolled at Ohio State University and received my bachelor's degree in home economics in 1929. I had planned to continue as a graduate student at Ohio State University, but instead was persuaded to accept a position as the head of the Department of Home Economics at Wilberforce University in Xenia, Ohio. I then attended Ohio State in the summer months and earned a master's degree in education in 1931. My major field was child development, and in 1935 I received a PhD in psychology from Ohio State University.
That's great. So after Ohio State University, what jobs did you have?
I was the head of the Home Economics Department at Winston-Salem College in North Carolina from 1935 to 36, professor of psychology and the head of Department of Home Economics at Lincoln University in Missouri from 1936 to 37, head of the Department of Home Economics at Southern University in Louisiana from 1938 to 39, the head of Home Economics Department at Bennett College for Women in 1939, and I then worked full-time in psychology as a clinician at Ohio Bureau of Juvenile Research from 1944, and I stayed there for 27 years.
Wow, that was a busy life.
Also, after retirement, I became administrative assistant to Weight Watchers of Central Ohio, served as a member of the Criminal Justice Supervisory Commission and Ohio Society for Crippled Children and Adults. I published The Effects of Practice on the Perception and Memorization of Digits Presented in Single Exposure, and Psychologist at the Juvenile Diagnostic Center, Past, Present, and Future. Some of my awards and honors include 10 Women of the Year by Columbus Citizen Journal and Alpha Kappa Alpha Award for Community and Scholastic Endeavors.
Wow, what an amazing life. Now that we've heard from Miss Turner, we will now hear from J. Henry Alston. So, J. Henry Alston, what are you known for?
I was the first Black American to publish an original research effort in an APA journal. My 1920 research publication, Psychophysics of the Spatial Conditions of the Fusion of Warmth and Cold into Heat, was received with much praise by E.J. Boring and other leader researchers.
So where did you study?
I studied under G. Stanley Hall at Clark and became fascinated with neurology and experimental psychology.
Was it hard to find a job after?
After receiving my MA in experimental psychology, I switched to academic interests to education and administration because of the lack of job opportunities in experimental psychology.
Thank you for your time. Back to you, Joli and Erica.
Thank you, Jenna. Now that you've heard from 3 significant Black psychologists, we hope that you have learned a little bit more. If you would like to know more, check out Even the Rat Was White by Robert V. Guthrie.
Thank you for joining us today.